This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mild afternoon, at least milder than yesterday. Yesterday we were stuck in the mid-50s. Today in the mid-70s with an isolated shower thunderstorm. Tonight we'll see the shower thunderstorm activity pick up, and even overnight there may be some severe storms with wind and hail. Even a risk for a tornado with a low 50 degrees, so have a way to get alerts while you are sleeping tonight. Most of us in a slight risk of severe storms, a little better chance, and enhanced risk to our southwest. Sun's back tomorrow. Ray Stajic, the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen.
DQ presents How to Know If Spring Has Sprung. Step 1, order from the new Spring Treat collection. Step 2, grab a fruity blast dip cone, s'more shake, or any of the colorful treats at DQ. Step 3, declare spring is indeed sprung. DQ, happy tastes good.
Hey, I'm Miles Gray.
And I'm Jack O'Brien, and we want to tell you about our new podcast,
Miles and Jack got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast from iHeartRadio. This is a weekly podcast about all the amazing moments that keep NBA fans coming back for more.
Basically, if you love basketball and you like to laugh, listen to Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Police officers know it only takes a few seconds of someone texting and driving for things to go terribly wrong. That's why officers are increasing enforcement of texting and driving laws. So put your phone down when driving, or be prepared for the consequences. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
You're pretty particular about keeping a healthy body, particularly when it comes to what you're putting in it and on it. That's why the Walgreens Health and Wellness brand has over 2,000 products. Rigorously tested, Walgreens pharmacist recommended. And for a limited time, select Walgreens brand health and wellness products are buy one, get one 50% off, which is particularly kind to your wallet. Walgreens.
Offer valid through April 30th with My Walgreens. Restrictions apply. See details at walgreens.com/Walgreens brand.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at usta.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Tiger Woods wrapped up his final preparation for tomorrow's Masters by playing one last practice round at Augusta National. Fred Couples, who played with Woods today, said he looks ready to go. The Masters will be Tiger's first PGA Tournament event since he was seriously injured in a February 2021 car accident. NBA, point the finger of blame at injuries for a Lakers season that fell well short of championship expectations. Center Anthony Davis told reporters he felt LA had the pieces to win a title, but injuries got in the way. Believes things would have been much different if both he and LeBron James were healthy. Things aren't good for the Lakers now, and the future doesn't look much better, says our Jay Williams.
It is the most disappointing season, I think, in sports history. I'm not talking about Lakers history sports history. I don't know where they go from here because cap-wise, it feels like they're stuck. It does. And for Russell Westbrook, who could be the highest paid player in the NBA next season, you can't move that contract.
Jay of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Bulls point guard Lonzo Ball out the rest of this season as he continues his recovery from knee surgery.
Brought to you by Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car, get pre-qualified instantly, and see your real monthly payment without impacting your credit score. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
It's ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is on the air. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget you can see us as well as listen to us on the YouTube stream. Thesportsocracy.com. Just go to that live video link, hit the subscribe button so you can get all of our content, and you can get in on the chat as well. And it is a busy, exciting Wednesday here in the Ingles Studio. Of course, we're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and it is Masters Week. It's all Jeremy can think about is hello friends.
Live from Butler Cabin, we're waiting for Tiger Woods to take the first tee.
Oh, and yeah, it's a huge Masters weekend. We have the par 3 contest on the screen right now in front of us.
Yeah, whoever wins this, do not take them to win the Masters.
Oh, has that never happened before?
Never happened.
Interesting. Again, I'm new-ish to the golf scene. I've only been in the game here for the last, what has it been, 18 months it feels like, since the comeback during the shutdown. But it will be my third Masters now. As a golf fan, we'll talk about who's going to be contending this weekend. We'll talk about your best bets for the weekend as well. We'll have more tips of that all throughout the rest of the week, of course.
Oh, I have a hammer. I mean, an absolute hammer. I have seen the number. I kept thinking it was going to move. It never did, and now I'm going to have it all.
Carolina Panther fans, we got some news for you as far as your team goes, and it's long been considered what would David Tepper do if he doesn't get the support of the local community when he wants to build his new stadium. We may have a sign of what he may do in that instance. We'll tell you that story coming up later on in the program, as well as the Los Angeles Lakers are out of the playoff picture. Jeremy's taken all of his victory laps after laughing hysterically.
For an hour. Yeah. Literally for an hour, because this is one of the most predictable things I've ever seen.
He laughed hysterically on NBA draft night when Russell Westbrook was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, and from minute one, he said this is going to be an unmitigated disaster, and that's exactly what it's been.
Well, Jay Williams said this is the biggest letdown season in sports history, I think that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth. Because who thought this was going to work? Who looked at this and went, "Yeah, you're fantastic"?
Well, all the sycophants, all the crazies in the NBA went, "There's no way that we cannot have these three superstars on one team and this team not pay off."
I'm not sure you have a second superstar. So,
well, I mean, you do when they're healthy. You have Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is never healthy.
Right. Anthony Davis is a superstar.
We should start instead of the Brow, we should call him the Unicorn. But, I mean, we see it every once in a while, or Loch Ness. Because we see it every once in a while, but it's kind of grainy, and then it goes away. And we don't ever see it again.
Nessie. Just call him old Nessie. All right. And, of course, big money being thrown around in the NFL or Or is it as much money as we actually think it is? All of that coming your way over the next 2 hours here in the Sportsocracy, as well as our next matchup in the overrated bands bracket. We've got another Elite Eight matchup today. We got the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, going up against the boss, Bruce Springsteen and the E-Street Band.
This is the easiest one we've had yet. This is Bruce Springsteen by all of the ways.
This is one I actually agree with you on. It should be Bruce Springsteen, but we let everybody decide here in the Democratic Republic of Sports, so you can cast your vote on the poll in the YouTube stream. In the NFL, started out the day with Stefon Diggs securing that bag from the Buffalo Bills, and it has been reported in two different ways. It's been reported by ESPN as a $104 million deal. It's been reported by NFL Network as a $97 million deal.
Who cares? It's offset language. None of it matters. It's $104 million.
That's what it is.
Million, the most important, $70 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
And this will put him in line to stay, I would say, in the top 10 over the course of the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And for Buffalo, home run. I have routinely said in the NFL specifically, it does not matter that you have stars. It matters that you have the right stars.
Yeah.
Stefon Diggs wants to be in Buffalo. Wants to be with Josh Allen, looks around and says, this is my 4-year window to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with him wholeheartedly. And I'm going to level with you. I've been coming to this rationale over the course of this offseason. I'm officially to the point of the salary cap in the NFL does not matter.
No, it doesn't
You're adding
matter.
$30 million a year to the cap. Now, if you have another coronavirus year, which I don't foresee that ever happening again, but I've been wrong before.
You better find some wood to knock on.
I'm superstitious. I ain't that superstitious. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to keep, with the television money that's coming in, just keep your guys.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this was a huge road flare being shot into the sky to the Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers, and the Tennessee Titans. Get it done.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to get it done for the Buffalo Bills because they have the quarterback. They have Josh Allen. Stefon Diggs came in, obviously, through a trade with the Minnesota Vikings. And since he came to town, shockingly enough, that was when the Josh Allen turnaround happened. Everybody's like, oh, this is going to be a big year for Josh Allen. Oh, he gets Stefon Diggs, and then guess what? Stefon Diggs, he ends up leading the league in receiving, and then he had quite a fine season last year, going over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns.
He's an elite receiver.
He is an elite receiver.
And he's a perfect pairing to Gabriel Davis.
But to me, it's a completely different situation, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like with the Seattle Seahawks, you don't have anybody to deliver the ball to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So what sense would it make for you to pour $100 million into DK Metcalf if you don't have the guy? Buffalo at least has the guy.
Mm-hmm. Here would be my question. Josh Allen without Stefon Diggs, is he Josh Allen? The answer is no, because we've already seen it.
I mean,
weird. Josh Allen took the huge jump forward the year that they acquired Stefon Diggs. That's not an accident. I fully believe Seattle's going to draft a quarterback in this draft with the intention of them being the starter in Seattle before this year's over.
Okay.
Now, Evan Doyle in our YouTube comments said something that I feel as though I must address as the resident Jets fan in the building. His comment was the Seahawks wouldn't give the Jets DK for the number 10 pick in the draft and let them pay him the money. Well, there's two things of that.
Mm-hmm.
A, it was never offered. I've heard this report all day. Oh, the Jets offered 10. Specifically said to me, no, they didn't.
Yep.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And had they done it, Seattle would have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what you just said. And we'll replace him with a young receiver. We'll go get Drake London, whatever the case may be.
Right.
The DK thing to me is important just solely because you're going to have a young quarterback. And if you go in with Tyler Lockett and Dwayne Eskridge as your top two targets, well, that quarterback's already off to a bad start before he's ever taken a snap.
Mm-hmm.
The other two are the more imperative. A.J. Brown. Oh, he wants $30 million. I don't care. I don't care if he wants a 5-year deal, $30 million a year with $100 million guaranteed. Just do it.
But what makes him different than the other receivers that we've had this discussion about? Amari Cooper was one of them.
Amari Cooper's not in the ballpark of A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the fact you put them in the same sentence irritates me.
Well, I'm just talking sheer money here because Amari Cooper got a $100 million deal.
And he's not worth $100 million.
You see,
there's a huge difference when you have a guy that's because I would say Amari Cooper falls somewhere between 20 and 25 among receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, look at his home road splits over his entire career. At home, great. On the road, good luck.
Right.
Last year, that was reversed because it was Bizarro World. He's not that guy. Ryan Tannehill was a bust before A.J. Brown showed up.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown shows up, and all of a sudden, weird. He's really good. And this takes me to the narrative that now I'm going to push, and it plays right into San Francisco. I now think it's more pertinent your weapons than your quarterback.
Okay.
I care more who your weapons are than who your quarterback is. And that's the reason you're seeing these $25, $30 million deals for weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Because a great set of weapons can take – look, it's not going to turn me into John Elway. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you made it to the NFL, you got enough talent to be a quarterback in the league. The difference between Miami Ryan Tannehill and best team in the AFC Ryan Tannehill is old number 11 on the outside.
Oh, and Derrick Henry. Although they did do it with
Derrick Henry before.
I was going to say
Marcus Mariota had Derrick Henry.
Right.
Was he ever a Pro Bowler? No.
Right.
You know why? Because his lead receiver was me.
And they did achieve the number one seed in the AFC without Derrick Henry for much of the year. So there's that. But Tyreek Hill, same thing. What makes it? What made this so different for the Kansas City Chiefs? Is it because
Kansas City believes their system will turn any little shifty receiver like that? See Sky Moore, who
right.
I am now dead convinced winds up with the Kansas City Chiefs at the back end of the first round.
Right.
They think they can do that with anybody.
Right. So is it a question of a lack of confidence without that? Because we know the Kansas City Chiefs, it's all about Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about Patrick Mahomes and what he can do. We can take any weapon and surround him with that.
Well, I mean, you can also do that with Pat. When you have Pat Mahomes, you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a mediocre quarterback, and I got news for you, we're at a point in the league now where all but about 5 teams in the league have some form of an above average to average quarterback.
Okay.
There are 5 elite quarterbacks in this league.
And they are?
Pat Mahomes,
mm-hmm.
Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was an obvious. Brady's where I'm coming to of. He's right on that line. You got 6 Super Bowl rings, so okay, you count.
Yeah, did lead the league last year. So.
I don't care about Jameis Winston led the league in yardage. I don't care about that in the least. And then Joe Burrow and Justin
mm-hmm.
Herbert.
Okay,
those would be mine. The others are dependent on the weapons, and I think Josh Allen's pretty close to being dependent on the weapons. If you have an elite quarterback, but guess what? You're going to pay him elite quarterback money. So the Tyreek Hills, you're not going to be able to do that.
Well, that was part of the consideration with this, this deal with Stefon Diggs.
Which, by the way, is going to look like a value 2 years from now.
Oh, you think we're getting how high do you think
35.
we're getting on these contracts? 35?
I think Deebo Samuel is looking for $35 million a year. And if I'm San Francisco, I wouldn't blink at it.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Here's a check. You write on it what you want because I'm terrified of this quarterback I have.
Right.
That I not only did I invest the 3rd pick in the draft in him, I traded up to do it. You tell me what you want. I don't care. And people will, and I know somebody's going to say this. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's coming. There are so many receivers in this draft. Mm-hmm. There's only a handful of truly elite. There's a slew of very good, and that's why I said that about Tyler Lockett. There's only a handful of DK Metcalfs in this league.
Mm-hmm.
There are 50 Tyler Lockett's. If you don't have the first one, you better have that quarterback, and Seattle doesn't.
Right.
San Francisco, in my opinion, doesn't, which is why you can't let a weapon like Deebo Samuel walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo knew. We're not the most attractive free agent destination anyway. Yes, we're one of the best teams in the league, but it's still Buffalo. It's still cold. And you're coming into the AFC, which is just a meat grinder.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll go Stefon Diggs. We'll roll with Gabriel Davis, Jamison Crowder. The ancillary pieces, we can save money there. But I'll give the big money to Stefon Diggs because he's worth it.
Yep. And don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that Stefon Diggs is worth this money. I'm always interested in the difference between these, why one team gives a certain contract as opposed to another team giving a certain contract.
I'm going to give you an analogy, and this may make it easier to understand moving forward. We all have that friend. If you're listening to this show, I am that friend. Where you look at their spouse and go, man, if she ever leaves you, you are screwed because you will never come close to doing that well again.
Right.
Think of pending free agents in the NFL the same way. If you're the Buffalo Bills, how do you replace Stefon Diggs? You don't.
Right.
You had to give up a first-round pick to get him in the first place. You're not an intriguing free agent destination for a receiver. It's freezing in Buffalo about the time October rolls around. So you get a guy that loves being here, pay him. I don't care. Kansas City, that's slightly more attractive because you have Pat Mahomes, you have Andy Reid, you have a system for the long haul.
Right.
If you're Seattle, that's about as attractive as an all-you-can-eat buffet at a building with no windows.
Right.
You can assume what I'm talking about.
But also in the Kansas City thing, it's also that we believe that Patrick Mahomes can be with anybody. We can throw all these fast receivers out there and just let him do his magic.
And there would be a part of me, if I'm DK Metcalf, that's sitting back, how less effective he is this year without Tyreek than he was. I mean, I think he's 85% of what he was with a rookie and Valdez-Scantling and Mecole Hardman. I'm not saying he's going to drop off a cliff.
And Juju. Don't forget him.
I can't forget him no matter how hard I try. The sheer fact Jackson Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster now reside in the same city makes my head hurt.
They're not collaborating, though.
For now.
They're not collaborating. Juju said there will be no TikToks in Kansas City. I don't believe that for a second. But he did say he is not going to have a what do they call it? An influencer relationship with Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, I have never in my life uttered the phrase, hey, did you see that thing on TikTok? That's never come out of my mouth. Not once, ever, and it never will.
You're not a TikTok fan?
No. And now, trust me, I get lost on it. The show has a TikTok page. I get lost in it and this is something we were talking about earlier. It blows my mind what people will watch in large quantities.
Oh, yeah.
That dumbfounds me.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like Bruce Springsteen music. Blows my mind that anybody in large quantities would consume that.
Yeah, you look at the important things in life, like some would say, I don't know, the recent news, the global news or whatever. Nobody cares. You get one video of a guy running into a screen door, millions of views. Easy.
That's why that Allstate commercial where the Mayhem guy is doing the little dance, he says, this is going to get tens and tens of views. That's the best commercial I've ever seen.
There ain't no doubt about it. I applaud Stefon Diggs for being able to get his money. The $100+ million deal is now the 7th such deal that we've had in this free agency period or this offseason in the NFL. And the money just continues to flow. You're hearing the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
We are watching a cold front come at us from Tennessee and clipping us overnight tonight with some thunderstorms rumbling. 49 degrees our low. Could be some pockets of strong or severe weather. Partly cloudy Thursday, high 62, low 36. And a big drop to the humidity for Thursday behind the cold front. Even colder Friday, high 53, low 32. Showers on Saturday with a high 45. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If April is showering your company with open job positions, check out Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job today and get hiring by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
The Food City Dirt Race is back at Bristol in 2022. And this time, it's a night race. You remember the last night races at Bristol in September, right? It's the Food City Dirt Race, 7 p.m. on Easter Sunday, April 17th. Save big by grabbing a weekend package today at BristolMotorspeedway.com. Remember, this isn't just any dirt race. It's a dirt race at Bristol, baby.
It's Bristol, baby.
And after 17 weeks on the PhD weight loss program, I have lost 53 pounds. I got my 50-pound bag from PhD weight loss. The pounds are falling off of me. I hardly even recognize myself. I'm starting to look like my dad, which makes me feel a little weird. I'm wearing other people's pants because none of my pants fit.
And that's, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I would use that as a home run swing. I'm wearing someone else's pants.
But I have to. I have to wear hand-me-downs now because none of my clothes fit.
Now, I'm wearing no one else's pants, but I am wearing new pants that I bought for myself because I am back down to my high school weight. Sleep has always been a problem for me. I've never slept well, and it was always because I was so heavy. Now, thanks to PhD, I'm sleeping like a baby.
You need to make a change. You go to myphdweightloss.com today. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Hey, I'm Miles Gray.
And I'm Jack O'Brien, and we want to tell you about our new podcast,
Miles and Jack got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast from iHeartRadio. This is a weekly podcast about all the amazing moments that keep NBA fans coming back for more.
Basically, if you love basketball and you like to laugh, listen to Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud-tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
When the Chicks did it than when Fleetwood Mac did it.
Okay, well, that is that is one of our contestants today in the most overrated bands bracket. Elite 8, we have the Dixie Chicks, now known as the Chicks, going up against Bruce Springsteen and the E-Street Band. And so far, I think it's pretty
definitive.
Pretty definitive.
Give me something that Bruce Springsteen gave the world that's not named Courtney Cox. That's the greatest contribution he has given us, and that's only because she ended up on Friends.
The Streets of Philadelphia.
They were there before.
That was a good song.
I think they were built in the 1800s. I think the Streets of Philadelphia were there long before Bruce Springsteen was.
That was a good song. Come on. All right, whatever. Most overrated bands bracket. You can vote in the poll right now on the YouTube channel. We are at 75-25. Bruce Springsteen would be moving on if it were to end now, but it doesn't. There's still time for you to get your vote in as we move forward here with the most overrated bands bracket. Dixie Chicks against the Boss and the E-Street Band. We already have one half of the semifinals all sewn up. Yesterday's winner was U2 by a landslide. No pun intended.
See what you did there. That's cute. That was nice.
U2 takes on Tool in the first semifinal,
which is basically like the Kansas Villanova of this Final Four.
And
we all got to know how that's going to go.
Yeah. And the winner of this one, The Chicks and the Boss will be moving on to take on either the Rolling Stones or Coldplay, which we will.
Rolling Stones.
No, stop that.
It's all Rolling Stones. There is a Rolling Stones or Bruce Springsteen. I feel like it's Springsteen U2. They're on a collision course.
Oh, I agree.
And for me, there are no losers there.
No.
There are no losers in that because in reality, there are no winners there.
So vote before the show is over today if you are a Bruce Springsteen fan and feel like he needs to be eliminated from the most overrated bands bracket. You better get your votes in.
I also feel like you should have to explain why.
Why what?
Why are you attempting to get him banished from this tournament? It should have been named for him. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. It's look, it's a generational thing. You'll never understand the greatness.
I don't think there's so little music that I like at this point. I think I've been soured by everything that's come out in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just all noise to me. This is the only time I'm like you, where I just yell at everything.
As the NFL's TV money continues to grow, obviously the contracts are going to continue to grow. Less than a decade ago, we had 13 total deals in history that were more than $100 million, which is kind of hard to believe. But now we're looking at one offseason where we have more than half of that.
Mm-hmm.
$700 million deals this year in free agency. And I mean, there's some fudging that can go on there. I mean,
the voidable years.
Right. Like Von Miller signs the $120 million deal for 6 years. It's really only a 3-year contract.
Mm-hmm. Because the last 3 years are all voidable.
Right. He could make that money, but more than likely, he's not. He's going to be 36 years old.
They're going to take a really ugly dead cap hit 3 years from now.
Right. He's going to be 36 years old, and they're going to say, okay, that's enough of that. We don't need to push this until you're year 39 or whatever. But, again, I never begrudge a guy his money.
Oh, I don't care.
And Stefon Diggs.
The only reason I ever cared about how big a contract was because of the cap. The New Orleans Saints have proven that doesn't matter.
No.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Throw some voidable years on the back end, move some things around. Who cares?
So what's the purpose anymore? That comes to me. It comes to mind for me of what's the purpose of a salary cap anymore if it doesn't matter?
Yeah, you're a baseball fan. Why am I why am I not shocked?
Oh, I'm not saying they need to get rid of it. I'm just saying
just keeps you within the boundaries.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because all of these
keeps a team like Kansas City from just continuously adding pieces
right
to what they already have. At some point, you have to make a decision, and they did. It's too easy to replace Tyreek Hill in our system. Now, whether that serves to be the case or not, remains to be seen.
And have you been at all surprised that when players get into this situation, the flexibility that the players show when the teams need to renegotiate or they need to do it? I mean, because I can't remember a real standoffish confrontation in the last few years with teams trying to do this. The New Orleans Saints have had to restructure every contract they've had. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had to do the same thing. Many teams are having to do this. And when players are – what I'm getting at is when the players are on a winner, they know it. And they're willing to do whatever it takes. I mean, they're going to get their money in the end. I'll wait 5 years from now to get my money if that's what it takes, as long as we can get rings now. And the Buffalo Bills are definitely a team that is in that stratosphere.
Well, I mean, the arms race has gotten too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's not taking a little bit less or we're moving the money around, you're going to get steamrolled by these super teams that have now been formed specifically in the AFC.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Many Panther fans have wondered since David Tepper took over this team, where are we headed? Is this going to be a deal where, the billionaire, who is now apparently worth like $16.5 billion, is going to get fed up, want something different, want a bigger stadium, want a new location? Will he move the team out of the city? And they've done a good job at pushing back against that. David Tepper's done a good job of making everybody believe that, no, everything's fine here in Charlotte. We just We just want the best deal that we could possibly get. Have you heard the update on the Rock Hill situation? The training facility that the Panthers want to build down there, they're going to move their headquarters. They'll still keep the stadium, obviously, at Bank of America in Charlotte, but moving the practice facility and all the headquarters down to Rock Hill, South Carolina. The team and David Tepper have invested $170 million in making this move and building this state-of-the-art facility down there. And they were promised by Rock Hill for $225 million in taxpayer funding to make this happen. Well, apparently something has the city of Rock Hill is trying to renegotiate in certain ways. That with this 240-acre development, they don't want to issue the bonds for the full $225 million right now. They want to negotiate a longer-term plan. Well, David Tepper is not down with that, seeing as how he's apparently already put in $170 million on this. So they just stopped work on the project altogether. And now it appears that they are going to walk away from Rock Hill altogether and come up with some other new plan. I look at this as going, if Charlotte doesn't give David Tepper what he wants, he's showing you what he's going to do. He's going to walk away. He will find a suitor somewhere else.
I think you're being, let's say you're putting the cart before the horse.
And I may be. It may never get to that. And, Charlotte, they've had their fusses over taxpayer dollars for stadium renovations and things like. We went through that a few years back. They gave him what he wanted. He was able to do all the renovations, but at some point, it's going to be this stadium was built in 1995, and it's time for a new one. It's going to be it's on the horizon. It's down the road. But still,
not that far.
Still a thought. Yeah, exactly. It's not that far down the road.
Yeah, do you remember how acrimonious the negotiations between Buffalo and the Bills had gotten? Mm-hmm. And, they're going to move to Toronto, or they're going to move to Poughkeepsie, or wherever they were going to go. Yeah. Weird. Not a problem.
Right.
They got that done last week.
There could be some, or there more than likely will be some litigation involved in this, whether it turns around that the city of Rock Hill will sue the Carolina Panthers, or the Panthers may end up suing the city of Rock Hill to try to recoup some of their expenses on this failed project because they wouldn't come off of the taxpayer dollars that were approved for the deal. So, I don't know.
This is the art of negotiation. Who wants you to know this? It'll get done.
Yeah. We'll see.
I need it to get done because I have a very convenient house to stay in that's right on the other side of where you're planning on building this.
Okay.
So, can we get this done? I don't want to be on the other side of Charlotte.
Right.
I hate traffic. I'm telling you, if I ever get rich and famous, I will give up my driver's license. I already have a deal in place. Driver, not me anymore.
I did love the one quote, though, from a South Carolina state lawmaker that said, David Tepper came to Rock Hill promising us Jerry Jones. And ever since then, he's given us Dan Snyder.
Oh.
Ouch. That hurts.
Maybe you're not putting the cart before the horse because I'm not sure that I could get over that.
Yeah, them's is fighting words right there.
Just remember, you're elected. Always remember that. There actually might be a way to get me to watch the Olympics, and it could be closer than you think.
Oh, no.
Damani Leach is the COO of NFL International, and he was talking about changes that could come to the 2028 Olympics. They're in L.A. It's flag football. Apparently, there has been a gigantic push. Now there is a world championship that is going to have teams from all over the world. And it's a real possibility that you could have flag football in the Olympics. That I would watch.
That would you.
100% I would watch that.
I mean, if we're going to do that, though, I need more. I need more in the Olympics. I need beer pong. I need, was it pickleball?
Cornhole. All sports that I'm good at. Darts. Let's go darts.
Slam ball. Give me slam ball in the Olympics.
Anything I can eat 17 beers and still participate in.
I don't know. You don't think of flag football as an Olympic sport, but there again, there was a time where a lot of these things were. I mean, skateboarding. Skateboarding was just something that rude teenagers did, and now it's an Olympic event.
Ugh, I wouldn't watch. If they did that in my backyard, I would sell the house out.
Skateboarding, really?
Stop.
Okay.
I have no interest in watching skateboarding, just like I have no interest in watching the luge.
I love
just
the
like
luge.
I have no interest in watching Dancing with the Stars or that stupid show you watch where they put on Halloween costumes and sing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, there was a time, but after one season of that, I went.
You're
done.
still watching that?
No.
Yeah, you may not admit it.
I hadn't watched that since Rob Gronkowski was on it. That was like season 2, I think.
You see how we're getting closer to the truth? Originally, it was, I didn't even make it to the end of the first season. Well,
No,
in
I
season
did.
2, Rob Gronkowski was in it. So
Yeah.
He's about to admit that he saw Joe Buck.
Who? Oh, Joe, the broadcaster?
Yeah.
He was on Masked Singer?
Yeah. And he was the first elimination the week after he signed his deal with ESPN.
Interesting.
It's the only reason I know, because I saw it on Twitter and went, oh, that's awkward.
Interesting.
Well, this is why you don't film things in advance.
No, the last one I remember is I think Rob Gronkowski was on it and Terry Bradshaw.
Awful.
It's actually pretty good. Terry's a good singer.
Awful. You know what else is awful?
What?
The Los Angeles Lakers are
Oh,
awful.
God, they are. They are so bad, and they got their 7th straight loss last night, and the Spurs got a win over your 2022 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Hey, it's okay. We just need one more win to stay out of the playing game. We'll be just fine.
And with that win, the Spurs eliminated the Lakers from possibility of being in the play-in tournament. And again, the whole experiment with LeBron and Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis has ended in complete and utter tragedy. You
almost made a new word.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
This
is a total tragedy.
Tragedy. Yeah. But this has been bad. And I don't know that I don't agree with Jay Williams when he says that this is the worst letdown in NBA history.
And I think you're out of your mind. Because to me, if you had any faith in this, I'm going to need you to explain it in 500 words or less.
I mean, there was zero chance that they were not going to make the play-in game.
That's probably a little more than I would have thought, but I would have had them in the play-in game anyway.
Yeah.
Be 100% honest with yourself. You're a smart guy, and you know this league better than most.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me the team that you thought they were better than. The Suns, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Mavericks, the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Pelicans, if they'd had Zion Williamson.
Fully healthy, I would have thought they were better than Clippers, but I would have had them in the same.
Fully healthy, you would have had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You're telling me that's really?
No, I'm saying the Lakers. I mean, we knew the Clippers weren't going to be fully healthy.
And I'm okay. Even with just Paul George and the ancillary pieces, that's better than this roster construction for the Lakers.
Okay.
This thought that they were going to be so good, I can't figure out how anybody thought that was a thing. And if you did, all right, let's say you went into the season and you were just awestruck by the fact you had Russell Westbrook, the most overrated player in all of sports in my lifetime, and I don't think it'll ever be beaten.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis, who is made of popsicle sticks, and 907-year-old LeBron James, who is more worried with doing movies than he is about winning and waiting for his child to show up in the NBA. You see how when you say it like that, you go, why is this so awe-inspiring to us?
Right. But it's because you still believed in, or the ones who did believe still believed in LeBron. And you still believe in LeBron. He's still one of the best. He's still one of the best players in the NBA.
I don't believe in him at all.
Really?
You have been in this league too long. There is too much wear on the tires, and you are done, done.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. Are you still big? Yes, but the explosion is gone. It's not there anymore.
Right.
Now you are a really tall version of Jason Kidd at the end because you're not a great shooter. All you really are is a facilitator, and you don't have anybody to get the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
You spend half the year without your best player, which Anthony Davis is the best player on that team. LeBron just went full team gets mine, and I've heard a lot of people say this is him proving he can still do it. No, this is him doing what he had to do because he looked around and went, wow, it's very Austin Reeves, Talon Horton, Tucker, Malik Monkey in here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad roster construction. And Rob Pelinka, if he keeps his job, you should absolutely, unequivocally bail water.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he has done here is one of the greatest tear-down jobs I've ever seen. Look at where this roster was. It was bereft of talent. All right, so you gut the roster, trading Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, blah, 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 for Anthony Davis.
Right.
With the draft picks. You're telling me right now you would be better off this way with this Malik Monk, Talon Horton Tucker, Austin Reevesy thing that you're doing. You would be better with that than Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There you go. It never made any sense. But when you start trying to appease your superstar, this is what you get.
Well, I mean, it made sense at the time, right? At the time when they made the trade.
I hated it at the time,
you
if
did.
you remember.
Okay.
I absolutely hated it at the time. You gave up 7 rotational pieces for a player that plays half the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but he's good, so good, and when he really cares. Oh, you mean that 1 year where he got a 4-month break in the middle of it?
Right.
Name me the other time he's even been reasonably healthy.
It's always been more hope with Anthony Davis than anything. Because I looked at him in New Orleans much like I look at Zion now. Of how much are you really hurt? I mean, we know you're brittle, and we know you get hurt. But we already know that you don't want to be in New Orleans anyway. So you can milk it for all it's worth. So I think there was some hope amongst NBA fans that once Anthony Davis came to the Lakers, that would change. But now he's hurt constantly.
He's Brandon Roy.
Yeah,
he's
and
a
he has
very tall version of Brandon Roy.
Setback after setback after setback, and you can never get him on the floor for an extended amount of time during
You're
the season.
hyper-talented, but your greatest ability is your availability.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're never available, I don't care how good you are.
Right.
I pulled this for this discussion. Do you know the other 4 teams that are going to miss the playoffs in the West?
Oh, God. You got the Kings.
Yep.
The Blazers. The
Rockets and the Thunder.
Yeah, there you go.
They had the Oklahoma City Thunder had a 2020 player last night. 23 points, 21 rebounds. I didn't even know he was in the league. He played at Wake Forest, and I saw the name pop up on my phone and went, you're to that point? You're to the point of playing non-starters on the G League team, because that's what he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're at. That's where the LA Lakers are now. Oh, it's such a... No, it's not. To me, it was incredibly predictable.
Yeah. I did not predictable it. You did. I thought there was a chance that this was going to happen, that they would figure out a way, because that's just the kind of blind faith that I have in one of the greatest of all time, that LeBron James will be able to figure it out.
Unless, I'll say the same thing I said at the draft, and I'm going to continue to say about this team. Unless a rule change is created where the LA Lakers get to play with 2 basketballs, this team doesn't make any sense.
Right. And now you're stuck.
And
I mean,
this thought process that you're going to get Doc Rivers or whoever to replace
Right.
Frank Vogel, no, you're not.
Yeah, Frank Vogel's getting fired, and the 2 names that surfaced yesterday in this discussion were Quinn Snyder and Doc Rivers. And I don't see either of those guys jumping on the opportunity to go, even though it is the historic Los Angeles Lakers and they're the coolest franchise in NBA history. I can't see either one of those guys making the decision to go there for what?
You mentioned this to me yesterday, that Doc Rivers was the name that everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
And immediately you said, why would you chase Doc Rivers?
Mm-hmm.
And my immediate response was, why would you not? If you're the Lakers, any halfway intelligent coach, Brad Stevens, who's up in the front office now, I'll give you anything you want.
Right.
Money is no option. But Doc Rivers leaving Harden and Embiid to come deal with this disaster?
Not a chance.
When you said that name to me, I literally repeated. You could have said Mike Krzyzewski, Pat Riley, John Wooden, Roy Williams. None of it would have made any more sense than what you just said, because none of them look at this and go, yeah, that'll be fun.
No.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Not only am I in one of the most, it's not even pressurized. There's a huge difference between New York and L.A. L.A. is very passive. L.A. supports winners.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't win, you just fall out of their lexicon.
Yeah, don't care.
And that's where you're at. And there's nothing you're going to do. And not only are you completely irrelevant from a talent standpoint, you have one of the loudest superstars in the league that's constantly going to keep you on in segments just like this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the Portland Trail Blazers like this or the Sacramento Kings. There's a huge difference in the construction of the rosters, the team itself, and where they are. And I would argue there's no team in the NBA in worse shape than the LA Lakers right now. You are stuck with LeBron. You are stuck with Anthony Davis. You are stuck with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
You're stuck. And it is completely unsalvageable.
I have heard all of these theories and possible solutions for this. Like, I think it was on Key J and Z this morning. And it was Max, or Key J and M or whatever. Max was saying, well, what if they offered the New York Knicks Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, and we just get to pick whatever we want off your roster?
They would laugh at you.
That's what I was saying.
If you said we would settle for R.J. Barrett, they would laugh at you.
Yeah.
Out loud.
I don't think that there is a team in the NBA that would look at a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers for either of those two guys at this point and go, yeah, I'm in.
Russell Westbrook's the most unmovable contract in the history of sports.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Max thought would make it palatable, is if you gave them Anthony Davis as well. Well, he never plays.
Well, I mean, even then, the Knicks are going to look at this and go, oh, all that does is turn us into you.
Right.
Now our fan base has these excised expectations that we're going to be better than we are. Second of all, I really, and I'm not one that seeks out chaos. The thought of Russell Westbrook playing for Tom Thibodeau, I don't think I've ever wanted anything more, because that vein in his forehead would never go away.
No, it would not.
It would just protrude at all times. It's a disaster. It's an abject disaster. And I'll be honest with you, the only way LeBron James is saving face from this is if he just walks. At the end of the year, I'm out.
Just retire.
I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm tired of doing this. I want to spend that last year of high school with my kid. And I don't think anybody would fault him for that. But if you think he's going to magically, like this is some Cinderella story where he's going to turn back into the belle of the ball at some point, it's not going to happen.
No.
This is a guy that lived his career above the rim. Now he's a 38-year-old with bad knees and a bad attitude. Really? You think he's going to magically turn into more than he is? No.
No. He is. I believe this should be the last chapter. And it would frankly surprise me if it was, just because there has been so much talk from him about wanting to play with his son that last year for his NBA career and all of that. And
well, here's the thing. On both sides of that, A, you're not going to make it that far. B, your
You're
son's not going to make it to the NBA. C, I'd love to play quarterback for the New York Jets. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right. But if he sticks around, what would he be coming back for? What's left in it for LeBron James in L.A.? I would say nothing. And, boy, you imagine the crap he would take if he tried to switch teams again. Maybe that is the solution. Maybe LeBron James just absolutely needs to say, I'm done. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Your picks of the night coming up next in Greene on Greene.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Townhouse or Club Crisp crackers, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks coffee, $7.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now.
Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces, and trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what, who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select varieties 28-ounce Dawn Ultra dishwashing liquid, $3.98 each. Select sizes and varieties Green Mountain or Donut Shop K-Cup or Krispy Kreme, Newman's Own or McCafe bag coffee. Buy one, get one free. And select 1 liter Polar Seltzer beverage, 3 for $1.98. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone, adults, teens, millennials, but it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Mrs. Fogelman, ready to hustle for that muscle.
Membership numbers at Sly's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. buns of steel.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm gonna have to bulk up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/online code.
Coffee still closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the wealth.
All I can say is thank you, Memphis Grizzlies, for absolutely nothing.
Aww.
You should have won it in regulation, and then not only do you go to overtime, get me on the money line, but you didn't even cover the spread. I hate things sometimes. 4 picks for you in the NBA. First one, the Washington Wizards are a 10.5-point dog tonight at the Hawks. This is where you can make some hay at the very end of the season because Vegas gets obsessed with teams that have nothing to play for. Let's be really honest. The Hawks don't have much to play for either. So if this game gets slightly out of hand, which it very well may, there's a great possibility that the Wizards are going to backdoor cover this by turning this into a 9-point game that was never really all that close. I think it stays closer than that anyway. I don't think there's a huge difference between these two teams. Give me the Wizards plus 10.5. Next, the Brooklyn Nets are a 4.5-point favorite tonight at the Knicks. This comes back into the Nets need this more than the Knicks, but it's in New York, and back-to-back, they may rest players. No, they won't, because they are absolutely trying to stay out of the 9 or 10 spot in the East and have to play in that extra game. This is a pivotal game. I don't care that it's on the second night of a back-to-back. They are going to dump truck the Knicks. Give me the Nets -4.5. Finally, the Phoenix Suns are a 2-point dog tonight at the LA Clippers. Over-under is 229.5. There is a thought that the Suns are going to rest players, and they might. Even with the backups, they're still better than the Clippers. I don't understand this line at all. Give me the Phoenix Suns in the money line under 229.5.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And you can take those wagers to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500.
And if you put it in today, you can use those free play doubloons on all of the Masters picks that we're getting ready to give you in the next segment.
Oh, absolutely.
Masters. And I've got some hammers.
We got some Masters talk coming up after the Sports Center update. The par 3 contest has been suspended because of weather. They have a tie at the top. They may be able to resume today. They may not.
No, they're done. They've already called it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, okay.
Mike Weir, Mackenzie Hughes, and Kevin Na. If you have any of them on a DraftKings team, you're doing it wrong, because every winner of the par 3 tournament ends up terrible through the weekend.
Mm-hmm. I feel great today because I have lost more weight with PhD weight loss. Another weigh-in comes, and after 18 weeks, I have lost 54.5 pounds. And my clothes don't fit anymore. We had to have that discussion with the health coach today of, it's time, Tank. You need to go in, and you need to go get some new clothes.
Did they look at you
wearing
and
other
say,
people's pants is not a good idea.
Don't wear other people's pants.
I've been having to borrow hand-me-downs because none of my clothes fit anymore with all the weight that I've lost with PhD.
I don't even want to ask what you're doing about underwear. For me, I'm wearing new clothes that I bought for myself because wearing other people's pants is weird. I'm back down to my high school weight. I've had sleeping issues for as long as I can remember because I couldn't sleep on my back because I was so heavy. Thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss, I'm back down to my high school weight. I'm sleeping better, and I feel fantastic.
Another thing we talked about was, I've been Tank since I was 8 years old. Am I going to have to change my name now that I'm not such a big human being? I mean, you want a drastic shift like that where people look at you and go, your name no longer fits you? Go to myphdweightloss.com. They can help you out. myphdweightloss.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
We are watching a cold front come at us from Tennessee and clipping us overnight tonight with some thunderstorms rumbling. 49 degrees our low. Could be some pockets of strong or severe weather. Partly cloudy Thursday, high 62, low 36. And a big drop to the humidity for Thursday behind the cold front. Even colder Friday, high 53, low 32. Showers on Saturday with a high 45. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by T.P. Howard Plumbing.
Hey, this is Josh Howard, T.P. Howard's Plumbing. There's nothing worse than a sewer emergency. We need sewer technicians to help with our sewer emergencies. Call T.P. Howard's Plumbing to apply today at 628-1369. That's 628-1369.
iHeartRadio wants you to see the Who Hits Back Tour in the U.S. city of your choice.
We don't get fooled again.
We'll fly you there, take care of the hotel, get you 2 premium tickets to the show, plus the Baba O'Reilly VIP package. That includes too many things to mention, but trust us, it's amazing. For your chance to win, just open the free iHeartRadio app and listen to the Who Radio. Tickets to the Who Hits Back Tour on sale now at livenation.com. See the Who in the city of your choice from iHeartRadio.
If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring, then check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Christine Lisi. Tiger Woods wrapped up preparations for the first round of the Masters tomorrow with a practice round today. He looked the same, maybe a little sharper, a little better. He's ready to roll, according to Fred Couples. Couples played that practice round with Tiger today. Woods is playing in his first PGA tournament since the February 2021 car accident that left him with serious injuries. The Lakers have gone from a preseason favorite to win an NBA title to officially being eliminated from playoff contention. Anthony Davis says he believes they had the pieces to win a championship, but injuries got in the way. Russell Westbrook, meantime, hoping he's back with LA next season. He does likely return, but his head coach probably won't, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
I hate to say it, but they're going to have to get rid of Frank Vogel, right? They got to find someone to point the finger at, and it's going to be him. Because I honestly believe that they're going to bring back the big three. They're going to bring back Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James next season and give it another run.
Bulls point guard Lonzo Ball, continuing to recover from knee surgery, is out the rest of the season. Chicago's already clinched a playoff spot, is 6th in the East currently.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
Welcome back in to the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and of course the Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, live or on demand, and we can be seen now on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get into the chat and get alerts whenever we put out an extra content, which we are going to be doing hot and heavy over the coming weeks as we get down to the big day of the 2022 NFL Draft.
Draftmas.
22 days away now.
Here comes Drafty Claus. Here comes Drafty Claus. Right down Drafty Lane.
Coming up in the happy hour today, only on the web stream at 5 o'clock, we will be talking about the 5 players that each team needs to target in the 2022 NFL Draft. We are going to be doing these division by division, so this will be the first of 4 episodes of this, and we will be covering all of the teams from the South divisions starting today in the happy hour of the Sportsocracy. It is Masters Week. The par 3 contest play was suspended, and they have called it, that they are not going to be able to get back on the course before it gets dark tonight to complete the par 3 contest, so we have a 3-way tie. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it was Mike Weir, Kevin Na,
and Mackenzie
Hughes. And apparently there never has been a par 3 contest winner who has gone on to win the Masters.
So you can just go ahead and write all 3 of them off. Which, I'll be honest with you, you should have anyway.
I was going to say, not that any of those would have been on your short list to win this tournament this week anyway, but so at least they can say they've won a contest at the Masters. Good for you. You won the par 3 contest, 3-way tie today. All eyes, of course, in this Masters on Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods coming back just over a year after the horrific car crash that be honest, when you saw the footage of the wreckage, you went, oh God, he's dead. Like, it's just that feeling that it looked so horrible. And it was. He almost lost a leg because of it, and now he's, like I said, just a little over a year after the accident. He is back out on the course. He's done really well in practice, according to those who have seen him, and he is a full go, as far as we know.
He is, but you should really temper your expectations for what you're going to get.
Everybody believes in the Tiger magic. I mean, especially after he came back 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago, and won the Masters after that, the long layoff and all the other things that he's gone through in his career.
That was a long time away from that. Now you're talking about, this is a very physical golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds weird to say because it's golf, but this is a very hilly golf course. It's hard to walk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the over-under at betus.com on Tiger's finishing position is 35.5.
Oh.
And it's more likely he finishes above that than under it. And to me, that is insane. If he makes the cut, that's a win.
I would agree. I don't think that – look, he says if he didn't think he had a shot at winning, that he wouldn't play in the tournament. And I get that's the competitor in you and everything, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Tiger could possibly win one. I mean, if you had a what was it, like a few years back, I mean, you've had Masters in the past that have been very low scoring. Like the winner had, 5 under.
Yeah, this week's not going to be that.
This is the only weather that you're going to have.
No. Well, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is that it's going to rain all night tonight. So you're going to have a really soft golf course tomorrow. I would say the leader in the clubhouse tomorrow is probably sitting at 6.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's the chances of this. Everything lays out poorly for Tiger. Now, him being here is a win.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
Him making the cut would be a home run. Expecting anything more than that, to me, is just a fool's errand. You've watched too many Disney movies. You're asking a copious amount here. And, yeah, he looks good. I've seen all the clips of him through the week. He looks good. But I'll also say if you told me he got 10 holes into this tomorrow and went, I can't. I can't do this, that wouldn't shock me either.
That would be my biggest fear. If I were a Tiger fan, is can he do it? Can he complete it? I've almost been shocked, like, does he have to put in this time? All of this practice time that he's been putting in and him being out on the course. I know he wants to test the body, but how much of that could hamper him going into the weekend?
I'm not overly worried about that. To me, it's the rigorous course, the tax on your body, and this is the first competitive golf he will have played. I know he played in a tournament with his son, and he was fine. That golf course was set up for the John Daly's of the world.
Right.
You're coming to Augusta, and literally I could give you 30 people off the top of my head that could win this tournament, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. It's truly a litmus test for him, though, to find out how much golf can he take, at least right now. He's going to continue working on it, and I don't think any of us really expect Tiger just to go away.
Oh, no, he's not going to. Tiger will be around for a long time.
Oh, yeah. But this is also going to say this will also tell him, one, can I do it physically? And if he's competitive, say he's in the top 25 on Sunday, then this is going to tell him, well, maybe I do have a shot.
If he's in the top 25 on Sunday, he's bionic.
Yeah, maybe I do need to play more warm-up tournaments before playing in these majors, because he said he's never going to play a full schedule.
Well, he hadn't played a full schedule in 15 years anyway.
But does he need to play more? Does he need to have a couple of tournaments prior to these majors to be able to stay competitive?
No, it's overrated. It's always been overrated. Look, guys like Tiger, one of the beauties of him is that he knows this golf course backwards and forwards. There's probably nobody that's going to play in this outside of maybe Fred Couples that knows this course better. The only problem is that you get to a physical limitation of it was just I heard him on the Golf Channel earlier talking about how they move this course slightly every year, and there's been a couple hole overhauls over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is to make it longer. And like 13 is one of the most iconic holes in all of golf. Now they've bought the land back behind it to extend the green to make it longer.
Yeah.
That's not beneficial to Tiger at this point. But he even said, I am at full capacity of what my body will allow me to do, just to swing as I used to. It's a great story that he's here.
Mm-hmm.
And if he makes the weekend, even better. But I think expecting anything more than that is you're asking entirely too much. And you should stop watching Disney movies.
I don't expect him to do a whole lot in this tournament. So whatever he is able to complete, I agree with you. Him just being there is a win. If he makes the cut, it's gravy on the taters. But the fact that you're going to have him Thursday and Friday, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw that He got an early tee time tomorrow.
He's early late, yeah.
Yeah, so he got an early tee time tomorrow. He gets a late tee time on Friday, which I'm sure they did that by design.
No, that's blind draw.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm. It's complete
just luck
draw.
of the draw?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is going to be for somebody who doesn't believe in coincidences, it's quite the coincidence that they would give him the ability to recover longer than
you mean
normal people.
You mean you think there's a conspiracy that they would want him to play at 8 o'clock in the morning when it's not on television? Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing I say when people tell me the NBA draft is fixed. If it's fixed, they're doing a really bad job of it.
Right.
That's how Zion ends up in New Orleans and Tim Duncan ends up in San Antonio.
I think it worked out pretty well for San Antonio.
And it worked out well for San Antonio. Unfortunately, the best player in the league was on the team that nobody cared about.
Well, I mean, until they won all those championships.
Still, nobody cared about them. They're the 25th most popular team in the league.
Tiger Woods, though, he is going to give it a go this weekend, and it all starts tomorrow. He's going to be teamed up with Louis Oosthuizen on the first round, I think.
Louis is, if you're into wagering things, just wager everything on Louis. There's very few people I look at in this tournament and go, I don't see any way you're not in the top 10 because you're always in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get that at plus 350 right now that he finishes top 10 in this tournament.
Really?
Which to me feels like an absolute layup.
But how many of those layups are there for you?
Very few. This is a difficult tournament.
Mm-hmm.
John Rahm is the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to not agree with that. He's not my favorite, though.
Your favorite is
Xander Schauffele.
I knew that was
If he didn't put one in the drink on 16 last year, he would have won it last year. And I just feel like at some point he's going to break through and do this, and this year just feels like this is the year for him. If it's not in this one, I think he's going to win a major at some point this year.
Right.
Plus, you can catch him at 22-1 odds right now.
Well, obviously, Scotty Scheffler comes into this as one of the favorites because he has been the hottest golfer so far this year. He's already got a 750-point lead in the FedEx standings.
He does, and you have to be careful with current form because that's not really something that I mean, look, if you can't play dead in the Western, then yeah, probably not the guy I want to roll with.
Right.
Mackenzie Hughes, ironically enough, guy that won the par 3, he has struggled mightily. For me, there are a group of guys that I feel like they're going to be around on Sunday. Schauffele is one. Jordan Spieth is one. And I know he was brutal recently, but this is just different. This is a different kind of golf course. It's a different way at attacking who's going to win this. The guy that I'm telling you adamantly right now to avoid, like he's on fire, is Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
The DeChambot. Ugh.
Are we still doing that? Is he still a thing?
He's an infuriating thing.
I jumped off of that bandwagon.
I told you would.
Well, yeah. I mean, after the Brooks Koepka rivalry never really
Koepka,
blossomed.
by the way, is another one I'm avoiding. He has, and I know I just said current form doesn't necessarily always play. He's been really bad at times, not sustained.
Right.
I just look at Cameron Smith as another one that I really think has a good week this week, and you can never write off Justin Thomas.
I mean, you look at guys like I remember last year how shocked I was when Dustin Johnson didn't make the cut, and you go,
"You catch one of those every year,
right?" But is this the bounce back after he won it and finished in second place the year before he won it? Is this where Dustin Johnson comes back and, he's going to be a thing down the stretch of the weekend?
He's formidable, but you have to be careful with guys like Dustin Johnson that live, and I know he won this tournament, but the year he won it was the best I've ever seen him hit irons. It's also the best I've ever seen him putt. The chances of him doing both of those things, again, are not real high.
What was the verdict on Matsuyama? Is he going to play?
As of the last I heard, he was going to play.
Okay. There was word that the stiff neck might keep him out, but of course he is the defending champion. And, Jordan Spieth is just one of those guys that up until, he had a string of tournaments last year where he did really, really well. he will be the guy that's always measured against what he did earlier in his career. I think somebody equated him to a struggling rock band. Like you had those great first couple of albums, and then after that, you're still hanging around, you're still touring, you still have your diehard fans, but you're always going to be compared to what you were in your prime.
Well, and that's because we compare everybody to Tiger. Tiger's the only golfer that ever came in was just a force of nature, and it never stopped until the personal issues. There's really nothing that slowed him down.
Right.
That's not – in the history of golf, there have not been many guys like that. Jack is one, Tiger is one, and there are a handful of others. And even that handful of others, they were never week in, week out that consistent. You'd have a bad week. And that's what I think gets Spieth, is that there was an expectation that he was going to be the next Tiger, and he's just not.
Right. What about Rory? Can Rory ever win one? Can he complete the career Grand Slam, and will this be his year, maybe?
I never liked Rory at this golf course. It's never been really kind to him. He's had a couple shots to be competitive. He is, I think, the 8th most likely to win this tournament, and I like every one of them that's underneath him. And that would be Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, Cameron Smith, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson, and Colin Morikawa.
He's finished in the top 5 3 times at the Masters, but that was years ago.
Yeah, and 2 of those were really just Sunday came along and he was good, not great, and everybody else fell apart.
Right, he just limped into the top 5 at the end of the tournament.
He's only really threatened to win this tournament once, but he is playing well.
So Rory's got a shot, but again, I think if I was going to make a wager on one guy to win it all this year, I think I'd have to go with Scotty Scheffler.
It's not a bad call. It's not the one I'm on.
I mean, you win 2 tournaments in a span of, what's it been, 8 weeks or something?
Yeah, and those 2 tournaments have absolutely nothing to do with this one.
But it's also playing your best when it's time. I mean, it's like March Madness. You know, everybody, if you're playing hot and you've got everything going for you, you're going to have a good shot.
All right, let me compare. I'm going to use your March Madness comparison.
Okay.
All right, so this would be like you played really well in your conference tournament, and now you're going into a cornhole tournament. Those 2 things don't really apply to each other at all.
Or would this be, I mean, that's not a good one to use since they just made a run almost to the Final Four. I was going to say, would it be like one of these lesser teams from, a smaller conference winning that conference tournament and just looking unstoppable and then going to the big dance where they have to face a tougher competition?
This is all about guys that can hit irons. You've got to be able to – you cannot give up strokes on the green. That's what makes me nervous about Spieth. Spieth has a just notorious problem of giving strokes away on the green, and this is not a place that you can do that. I do think it's going to be more high scoring this week than you're used to, especially in the first 2 days.
So because the greens won't be as fast?
The first 2 these first 2 days, specifically because it's going to rain so hard today. I mean, it's already canceled or stopped the par 3. They had to call it early.
And it rained all day yesterday,
Yeah,
too.
and it's going to rain all night tonight. So the weather for the weekend looks good, little touchy in the morning, but other than that, it's going to be pristine. But that softens everything up, makes everything a little bit more forgiving, and then you get to the weekend where everything's just baked in the Georgia sun, and it is going to be like putting in a parking lot. I'm all over Xander Schauffele this week.
Who's the out of nowhere? The out of nowhere, like if you had to throw a dime on it, who would it be?
You're going to have to quantify out of nowhere.
I'm going deep divey, like a guy that is not in that normal group of contenders.
So somebody that's 40 to 1 or higher.
Sure. Yeah.
Matthew Fitzpatrick.
That's
another one that I feel very sure is going to finish in the top 10 to 15.
Okay.
Played well here last year. His game really translates to this course. I don't think he can win it, so I'm not going to advise you. He's plus 4,500, I think. I'm not advising that, but I think he can be competitive. If you're doing DraftKings things, not a bad call.
All right. Are you doing a setting up a show DraftKings contest this year?
We could do that. Yeah, we could do that. We could do a DraftKings a contest. We'll put that link on the website after the show and on our Twitter, Facebook, all of the other things.
And obviously, you'd have to lock it in because it starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow, we'll be live on the air and have Masters Golf on the television.
We need an intern that says, hey, you remember that thing that you do with majors? You should do that. Because that's the first time I've even thought of it.
I think somebody put it in one of our chat boxes, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, but that's not my thing. I don't do that. And I've spent all my money, and you know me.
All $8.
Cheaper than oxygen.
Yeah, Tank is the first person in the history of time that had a decimal point deposit match on DraftKings.
That's right. I do it the same way.
We matched your 71 cents.
I do it the same way every year. I put $25 in at the beginning of the NFL season and see if I can make it last to the end.
I've lost $25 on lineups I forgot to draft.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
We are watching a cold front come at us from Tennessee and clipping us overnight tonight with some thunderstorms rumbling. 49 degrees our low. Could be some pockets of strong or severe weather. Partly cloudy Thursday, high 62, low 36. And a big drop to the humidity for Thursday behind the cold front. Even colder Friday, high 53, low 32. Showers on Saturday with a high 45. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slowing between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 eastbound at mile marker 53. The ramp is narrowed here at Charlotte Highway. Expect some delays. And 40 westbound slow in Haywood County between Fines Creek Road and Harmon-Den Road due to construction. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound delays between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by the maker of Frontline Plus.
Frontline Plus is the #1 name in flea and tick protection. So, however you want to live life with your pets, Frontline Plus lets you take them everywhere, no matter how you define it. Available for dogs or cats. Visit frontline.com to learn more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. But I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car at work or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now 1-800-575-8094. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS, and there is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp, and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today and call 1-800-575-8094. Once again, that's 1-800-575-8094. Or you can visit us online at tra.com.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken Sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/online code.
Professional women's tennis is coming back to Harrah's Cherokee Center, Asheville, April 15th and 16th. Tickets are on sale now at USTA.com/BJKC. Get your tickets and see Team USA women's tennis in this exciting match, April 15th and 16th.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty.
Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Here on ESPN Asheville, the most overrated bands of all time are being decided in our most overrated bands bracket. Today's matchup, the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, going up against, that's right, the Boss. Oh. It's just
that
like
sounds like a
nails
drunk dad doing karaoke at some god-awful little beachside bar.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that dude sounds like he should be wearing a visor with a bad sunburn and just bleached white New Balances. Talking about his lawn and his grill.
Bruce Springsteen, he was the darling of, like, the late 70s and all through the 1980s in the rock scene. But
we all love the drunk dad at karaoke. We've all just stood up going, "You go get it, Dale."
But there comes a point where you got to go sit down, Dale. It's time to go home.
You've had 47 beers. It sounds like you've forgotten half the words. Stop doing that.
So cast your votes in the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can get into the chat, cast your vote. Bruce Springsteen versus the Chicks in the most overrated bands bracket. Currently, it sits 70-30. In favor of the Boss, moving on to the Final Four.
There is somebody in their car that's just so angry at everything I say about Bruce Springsteen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's funny? I don't mean all of the things I say about bands. I mean every word of this. I do not, for the life of me, understand how anybody listens to that.
Yeah, it's fine every now and then.
If you I'm trying to think of something that would be worse. If you took your entire silverware drawer and dumped it in your garbage disposal and ran it, I would rather listen to that.
Mm-hmm. I think Bon Jovi to me was the new Bruce Springsteen, because I believe that's a lot has to do with why Bruce Springsteen was popular, because, he was like the guy's guy. You know, he came out on stage with a cut-off jean jacket and all that. And all that stuff was the fashion in the 1980s. Like, wow, look at this rock star. He just can't sing. Jimmy Fallon doing Bruce Springsteen is better than Bruce Springsteen.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. But yet, this guy is one of the highest-selling acts of all time.
Which just proves there is a lot of bad taste.
There is indeed. So cast your vote today. The winner of this will move on to face tomorrow's winner between the Rolling Stones and Coldplay in our semifinals.
Oh, Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen will be a banger. And that's exactly where we're headed.
And U2 and Tool have already moved on.
I feel like Tool is the St. Peter's of this tournament.
It is.
Why are you still here?
They're the 11 seed, and they have made the Final Four. They've made the George Mason-type run to the Final Four here. And they are going to get scattered, smothered, and covered when they go up against U2. And I guess we're going to cram those together on Friday.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
With the most overrated band being crowned in our championship on Monday.
Oh, with nothing but drafting season ahead of us. Yeah, we could probably cram that all into Monday. Or Friday, excuse me.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
I know I've asked you this question before, Jeremy, but I'm going to ask you again. As the information continues to come in, are UFOs real?
No!
Is there such a thing as extraterrestrial life?
No!
No,
If it was real, everybody on this planet has a camera phone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have an accidental pick at a red light without somebody catching it on a cell phone video, and yet we've never seen a video of it.
Oh, we have. I mean, we've seen, there are videos out there of blinking lights in the sky.
Oh, look, it's an airplane through a weird filter on my phone. It's a UFO.
Yeah. Yeah. Even after all of these leaked reports have come out from the government who has studied it and said, yeah, UFOs are real.
I need you to look at who you just said that to and say, the government said it. You don't trust that? Well, I think you just answered your own question.
I mean, they've been trying to hide it from us for years, and now we're finally getting more information, and the latest information has come from 1,500 pages of DIA documents from the government that are showing us that they're at least looking into these things, and they are following up on all the reports of extraterrestrial activity. And in these documents about the Pentagon's secretive UFO program, the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, in the documents it includes all of the supposed injuries that have taken place with people who swear that they have had run-ins with extraterrestrials and UFOs. And
how many of them were named Elmer or
don't know,
or Goober?
Don't know. No names were included in the report.
That's because it's kind of damning to the report. The aliens love abducting people, but they're all very less than ideal intelligence people.
Right. There are several afflictions that are reported associated with UFOs that we have been studying, and obviously abductions. Apparent abductions are the number one most common thread. 129 of them have been reported to the government, and the government has apparently looked into all of these. Electromagnetic effects on your vehicles is a very common complaint when UFOs are around.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that
you're just driving down the road and your car just lifts up off the ground like, whee!
No. It just shuts down. It's like there's an electromagnetic pulse that comes from the UFO that shuts down your car.
Yeah, you want me to tell you how to fix that? Change your oil more than every 7,500 miles.
But, so those are things that happen to items. Things that have happened to people that have been investigated by the government, those are much better. Obviously, like radiation burns and things like that, unexplained. I got too close to this foreign object and came away looking like I have a suntan, which is radiation burn. If you've ever seen the Chernobyl series on HBO, it's phenomenal, by the way. But you see what radiation poisoning can do to someone.
I have another explanation for that. I just don't know that I could say it on the show.
Some sort of pain, skin sores, nausea and vomiting. Obviously, those are all common things, but then there are others that are weird. Like there have apparently been 5 cases of sexual encounters that have been studied by the government to determine that, and at least 1 unexplained pregnancy.
Were those reported by somebody that said they met their alien girlfriend at camp and she goes to another school?
Right. Like it goes on all this entire list of all these things like insomnia and appetite loss and swelling of the tissues and dizziness. 5 sexual encounters, apparently 4 deaths associated with UFO sightings, and 1 unexplained pregnancy.
That's and the 4 unexplained deaths are Billy Bob Betty Frank was standing on his roof going, "Hey, Ma! It's the aliens!" And they fell off the roof. That's the unexplained death.
Look, this is, you can only use that excuse once, right, though? You can only use that excuse once that, I was impregnated by an alien.
No good can come from me responding to that, so I'm going to move right along.
But again, official documents that were released by the government that tell us, they give us a little window that maybe, just maybe, all this alien stuff is real.
Do you recognize the name Gunu?
Gunu. That was the big 4-armed guy in Mortal Kombat, right?
Nope.
Oh.
Gunu was a rapper, and unfortunately, he was slain on March 18th. That's not why I'm telling the story. I'm telling this story because of what they did after he was slain. because apparently his mother and his sister decided that he was not a church-going fellow and did not wear suits. So they thought putting him in a casket would not be really honest to the person that they were honoring.
Okay.
So they had him embalmed. They put him in his clothes. And then they took him to a club and people danced around him.
That's creepy.
Stop doing weird things with dead people, okay? This is like the fourth story we've had a month of somebody going, you know, I know that most people either cremate people that pass or they funeralize them or whatever they do. Stop doing weird things with people.
So they took the rapper's body to the club so everybody could party with him one last time.
Yes, and apparently the club has issued, the club it's called Bliss, they have issued copious numbers of apologies because apparently they did not tell the club people what they were planning on doing. I have so many questions, not the least of which is, would you not have loved to see the look on the door guy's face when they walk in and Gunu is with them? And they're like, wait.
Hey, man, I thought you was dead. Oh,
wait a minute. What? You're wearing sunglasses inside. That is bad sign number one. Bad sign number two is you did not look at me when I addressed you. That is a dead person. So you are just trotting him through the bar like this is just normal.
So you've got it in your mind that they like weekend at Bernie's to him in there, like had him around each shoulder and just walked.
No, they apparently just brought him in on like it looks like an appliance dolly.
Oh no!
And they just stood him up.
Did they use the straps and everything to keep him upright?
I can't tell because they took a picture, which, by the way, is going to haunt my nightmares as much as that weird Reese's cup with legs that I saw throughout the course of the March Madness tournament. I read this story and I went, you know, this is a good chance for me to get my wishes on radio if I pass away. First of all, if you cremate me, I will haunt you forever. All right, so that's on radio. That's on air. And now, if you do it, you're all culpable. I want to dance. I just, you know, I'm all the way in.
You just want to dance.
But don't prop me up in the corner. You know what? Pass me around.
Full on marionette?
Yeah, okay, I got some big friends. Just, all right, get Mongo and somebody else and just tote me around.
God, could you imagine?
I want to dance.
Me and Andy trying to make you dance.
I want to sing karaoke and just all the weekend at Jeremy's you can possibly do.
Awful idea. Stop doing this. This is weird.
Look, if it's going to become this is literally the fourth story like this we told the month. All right, so now it's become very vogue to do weird things with people's bodies.
Well, I mean, this stuff has been going on forever. I mean, people have treated, you know, dead bodies in weird ways for a long time. I mean, have you never seen all of the, you know, back in the Wild West when they would sit people up and open their eyes and take their pictures and stuff as one last memento of, this is the picture of Granddad when he was dead. Gross. My mom was showing me something the other day about how in Victorian times you didn't have cameras to take pictures of your family members, so the way that they remembered them was that they had an art made out of their hair. Victorian hair art is a thing, and it is disturbing.
I'm not a fan of hair.
It's just gross.
A lot of people in the comments said they were marking the tape. Okay, I want to dance. I just don't just don't just put me in a box and ship me off. You know what? Ultimate way for me to go out, just we have a night on the town, many fireballs and adult beverages are had. One last rendition of Country Roads, you know, maybe at the Silverados or at the Social, and then you just put me on a boat and float me out in the ocean, and just there he goes. That's what he would have wanted.
You would rather have all of that done, but cremating you's out.
Oh, out. Yeah, you cremate me, I will straight up haunt you forever. Like, and man, I'm not talking
Is it because you have
I'm not talking like
fire?
Once a year on my birthday. I'm talking about like literally every day you come home and all the cabinet doors open and you go, oh, Jeremy's here.
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't have done that. I guess we're going to have to call. We're going to need a shipment of holy water because he will not leave us alone now.
No, wait a minute. You won't believe in UFOs, but you believe in supernatural stuff?
No, I don't believe in that either.
Oh, okay.
I believe that my commitment to haunting anyone that has a role in doing that to me is that strong that I will break through the fourth wall and I will haunt you forever.
But do you have a fear of fire?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A horrible one.
Okay.
A terrible one. That is not how I want my last event on Earth to go. Okay. Plus, let's be really honest. I consume copious amounts of adult beverages, so that's not going to go well, okay? You ever throw alcohol on a fire?
Yeah.
Do you know what happens? I ain't going out like that.
That just means you'll burn faster.
Bingo.
It's less of a, you know, I mean, you're going to be dead. It's not like you're going to feel it.
That's fine. It's on the off chance I do.
People have their own, you know, wishes.
Yep, I've made mine clear.
Yeah, no
One
cremation.
last night, weekend at Jeremy style, boat out of the ocean.
See, you keep saying that boat out on the ocean thing, and when I think boat out on the ocean, I envision Viking funeral.
Yeah, 100%. Light it on. No,
no. See, you can't do that because you don't want to be cremated.
No, out front. No.
We just shoot the arrow and light it on fire.
No,
see, because that's what I'm thinking. We could all have fun with. We all line up on the beach. Yeah, we all line up on the beach. We put you out on the raft, and then we all just get drunk trying to shoot flaming arrows at the thing.
Well,
there's no chance anybody's going to get hurt doing this.
You're one of them. I know how clumsy you are. There is a very good shot. There's
100%.
a much better shot you shoot yourself than you hit anything associated with me.
Yeah, or I get a beer in and go, hey, y'all watch this, and shoot it straight up in the sky.
And then try to catch it.
And then if that happens, y'all can just throw me on the raft with Jeremy and burn us both.
Yeah.
Why not? We'll just do it that way.
No, you get your own boat. This is my thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
We'll craft one.
That's like getting engaged at somebody else's wedding. You cannot. It is being a poor mourner if you die at somebody else's funeral. You can't take the spotlight off of the deceased.
Correct.
Yeah. By the way, don't ever do that. And tell everybody you know, don't ever do that. Don't ever get engaged at somebody else's wedding. It's awful.
I've literally, as somebody that did weddings, I've seen that twice. The second time I was working it, and I had one enough pints of liquid courage to go, what is wrong with you?
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Over the mic?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
That is
I did.
awesome.
I didn't. I don't remember getting paid for that particular event.
I wouldn't think you would. Although, you know, as the person that would, you know, if you were the person in the wedding, the bride or the groom, I'm not going to be cool with that.
Yeah, if you're if the last 8 minutes is the first you have consumed of this show, I guarantee you're going, what is the matter with you two?
Right.
I was hugged not enough, and now I'm broken in my head.
Report came out yesterday in the NFL. I guess this was late last night. Tyrann Mathieu made his little visit down to the New Orleans Saints, and I love that guy so much. I just love his attitude, and when he left, what he said I thought was brilliant was, they don't need me. This is a good defense anyway. Mm-hmm. They don't need me, but I would have a whole lot of fun coming back and playing for Dennis Allen. I think this deal gets done.
I do too, and he would be look, he's a very different player than Malcolm Jenkins,
mm-hmm.
but he could be a very apt replacement. Especially because you have Marcus May, who's already proven he can play single high safety.
Right.
He did it with Jamal. The best I ever saw him in New York
mm-hmm.
was doing exactly that and allowing the playmaker safety on the other side to do all the things he does. To me, that's a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
And I look at that and go, with the 2 first-round picks, that team could be way better than we think.
Yeah, it's going to be a much better team than we expected them to be at the beginning of the offseason.
Tyler Cunningham in the comments asked who's going to play the other safety, Paulson or Dabo. Maybe. No.
It'll be Marcus May.
He a little feller.
Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, that's Dennis Allen. You play single high safety now because you have this toy to play with, and you're going to have to because we paid him $1 jillion that we did not have.
So I think that deal gets done and the Saints will round into form.
Well, I mean, the three teams I heard on Tyrann Mathieu the entire time were the Steelers, the Saints, and the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Ravens were out when they signed Marcus Williams. I still think Pittsburgh hasn't – if I was putting a percentage on this, I'd say it's 90% New Orleans, 10% Pittsburgh, that they randomly show up at the backside of this and swoop in and make the deal happen. But I would say the Tyrann Mathieu deal gets done within the next handful of days.
Mm-hmm. Ian Rappaport, he is reporting that another team in the NFC South has reached a deal with a safety today. Keanu Neal's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, yay!
Hey, here's your Jordan Whitehead replacement.
I thought
Keanu Neal is Jordan Whitehead if you ordered him on Wish.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought we already got that in Logan Ryan.
Here's your Jordan Whitehead replacement, Keanu Neal. Because I vowed to only say nice things today.
You don't believe in Logan Ryan at all.
I do not trust him a great deal at this point in his career.
All right. Well, I mean, it will be a patchwork of something there. Logan Ryan, Keanu Neal. We know Antoine Winfield Jr. is not going anywhere.
No,
he's going to stay right where he's at. The Carolina Panthers continued. There's continuing rumblings and arguments going on about what they need to do in this upcoming NFL draft. And, Jeremy, are you solidly on absolutely no quarterback? Like, if it was you making the call, there's not a chance I'd take a quarterback in this draft at 6.
No. There's not a quarterback worth taking there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be doing the Carolina Panthers 5 players they need to walk away from the NFL draft with in the happy hour just about 20 minutes from now. And I'll go ahead and tell you there's not a quarterback there. The question that I always ask with quarterbacks, if all of them were in this draft class, would the guy you have go ahead of the guy you would take?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is yes. I understand the money. I get all those things. You're on the hook for the money anyway.
Right. He's going
This is not like Daniel Jones where, now we'll just knock off the 5th-year option. We save all the money. No, you've already enacted that.
Right.
So you're on the hook for $18+ million with Sam Darnold. And to me, you put a formidable line in front of him with DJ Moore. It appears that Robbie Anderson's still going to be there. Shi Smith is still a piece that I like, depending on what happens to him with the league.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrace Marshall. I mean, that's the weapons are fine. And I didn't even mention Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. I would wait.
That's the path to me.
Yeah, this is a situation where we said it last year. I'm going to say it again this year. I would wait. If I was the Carolina Panthers, the chances that I'm going to be a really good, really competitive team this year, very slim.
Well, I mean, and I've said this before. You've got a head coach that's got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to take a quarterback that the owner loves, and a year from now try to find a coach and a staff that loves that quarterback that's already in place.
Right.
That's a fool's errand, and we've seen teams do this a billion times. Matt Nagy and Mitchell Trubisky is the best example of that you have ever seen because Nagy couldn't stand him. Didn't do anything he wanted him to do, and he basically typhooned his career.
Mm-hmm. But I would take my chances that we're going to have a top draft pick next year. And I'm not saying like number 1 or number 2, but you'll be in the top, 12?
You'll be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10 to 15, depending.
We'll be in there, and then we'll see if there's a quarterback there to take next year.
And this is another one of those things that I don't really ever see people take these things into account. So there's really only 2 options if that's the case. You're either going to pick in the top 10 or Sam Darnold is the guy for the future.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't finish in the top 10 draft-wise next year, that means you were good enough that Sam Darnold's probably not the problem. Could you improve? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the Cleveland Browns. But you're not on the hook for Sam Darnold. So then you can negotiate deals, whatever you want to do. It just, to me, it makes absolutely no sense to take quarterback in the top 6. And there is a possibility that they're trying to get somebody to trade up, but I will tell you, and Tyler Cunningham just said this in the comments, he was at the Saints facility. He's a scout that deals with the NFC South. He said, I'm right. The Saints are in love with Tyler Smith, Jameson Williams, and Boye Mafe. I've heard the same thing on Mafe. It's just we hadn't really gotten into the second round that much. You make a trade for an extra first-round pick, it becomes, hey, who are you taking with those 2?
All right, it's time for something to chew on with Caleb Peak here on ESPN Asheville. Of course, brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets.
Manick circling around. He slipped underneath. They go to Love. Love's going to be the one to take it. Puts up the shot. It's off. The game is over. And Kansas completes the biggest championship comeback.
It was a game of superlatives. Welcome to Season 3 of Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Caleb Peak, and what a way to kick it off, because as the free world, and more specifically the NCAA, reemerges from the darkness and emptiness that came to define the COVID era, this Final Four and the national title game it produced was one of the most epic chapters to be bound to the book of college basketball. And when I say most, that's not just youthful exuberance like Hubert Davis exhibited up until Brady Manick tripped over his own feet on the final inbounds play. All this talk about the biggest, the most, the first. It's not just hyperbole and melodrama. Oh no, the numbers back it up. In fact, the numbers are the only way to describe just how iconic this college basketball season was, and how that the more things change, the more they seem to stay the same. Let's start with the biggest superlative that you heard Jim Nantz refer to as the final horn sounded on the 82nd national championship game, which actually accounts for 2 broken records at the same time. Of course, the Jayhawks' 16-point resurrection over the span of 20 minutes set the record for the largest comeback ever in the ultimate game of the NCAA tournament, breaking the previous mark of 15 that stood for 59 years. At the same time, Kansas set the mark for largest halftime deficit overcome in a men's championship game. Again, 16 points. Until now, that record was held by Tubby Smith's Kentucky Wildcats, who were 10 down at the half in '98 against Utah. On Monday night, UNC won the battle of the box score, leading Kansas in everything but assists, steals, and made threes. But a 31-10 Jayhawk run out of the locker room sucked all the wind out of Carolina's sails. So this game certainly qualifies for the biggest superlative in the class yearbook. But what about the quote-unquote most? Well, consider where we are now as modern Americans. Do you still have cable? Do you still have a dish mounted on your roof? Maybe you do, but I and many others like me do not. Sure, I might not get QVC or the Home Shopping Network, pardon me while I sob uncontrollably. Yet, this year's title game became the most watched national championship game ever on cable TV. 18.1 million viewers tuned in to TBS, TNT, and True TV for this blockbuster. And while probably 9 million of those viewers went to bed disappointed, not one of them could say they expected more out of this game. It was also the 3rd most watched college basketball game of all time. And it's worth mentioning here that the 2nd most viewed game in cable history happened only 2 nights prior, when 18.5 million humans tuned in to watch UNC and Duke square off in a game that was more hyped and more anticipated than the national title game itself. If you're curious about the most viewed game in history, well, you've probably at least seen the highlights. The 1979 National Championship featuring Michigan State and Indiana State, unsurprisingly, is the most watched game of all time, with 35.1 million viewers, a record that will stand forever. Besides, that game was carried on NBC, a network, so cable records be damned. And then there's the question of the quote-unquote first superlative, which is a mark that can never, ever be broken. It was the first time 2 head coaches who both succeeded the same head coach for their current job squared off in a natty. This was also the first time in my life that I've ever seen North Carolina forced to wear the glass slipper. Say what you want about St. Peter's and their Cinderella run to the Elite Eight. It was fascinating to watch those guys work under Shaheen Holloway. But Carolina was the real Cinderella here, because the heels were still an afterthought coming into the tournament, including for yours truly. I had North Carolina knocked out in round 2 against Baylor, and they tried as hard as they could to give that game away. But here's a piece of advice. Don't get so caught up in the talk about first this, first that. Some of the best stories get overlooked because they aren't coming with superlative status. How about Hubert Davis as only the 4th coach in history to play for a national title in his first year at the helm, joining Michigan's Steve Fisher in 1989, Bill Hodges of the iconic '79 Indiana State squad, and Dick Harp first-year head coach at Kansas in 1957, who along with Wilt Chamberlain lost their first-ever national title bout against the 32-0 Tar Heels as North Carolina claimed its first-ever NCAA championship. 33 years have passed between Fisher and Davis. And considering the difference in talent on the floor between Fisher's Fab Five and Davis's underclassmen-heavy roster, it's remarkable what Coach Davis has been able to engineer in his first year. Sure, it feels like the times are a-changing with this new world of college basketball we're living in, but the numbers tell the real story. All time, over 12 meetings, the record is perfectly even between Kansas and UNC. 6-6 dating back 65 years. The Jayhawks' victory handed the program its fourth national title, and maybe more importantly, kept Kansas from taking the all-time lead in most championship games lost. It would have become 7 empty appearances had Carolina's 16-point lead held. And oh yeah, about Coach K, in a perfectly round total of 100 meetings between UNC and Duke during the Mike Krzyzewski era, the Tar Heels and Blue Devils are split perfectly. 50 wins to 50 wins. All in the same season. We've seen one era come to an end with little to show for it. We've seen a new era rise with plenty to show for it. And at the end of it all, we've seen the status quo prevail as the lone remaining 1 seed wins again. And of course, it's a Big 12 school. I'm Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Lane delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound is slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 eastbound near Charlotte Highway at mile marker 53. The ramp narrowed here due to an accident. Haywood County, 40 westbound slow between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. On Brevard Road, northbound between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway, some heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Smoky Park Highway, northbound, approaching Sand Hill Road, delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by News Nation. You're looking for real news. News Nation doesn't take sides or lean into political agendas. At News Nation, you get all sides. If you're looking for news without the noise, come back to the news with News Nation. News for all America. Go to newsnationnow.com/join us to find your television provider.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words. But when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken Sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/online code.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? Keep your engine at its best with clean oil from Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Got an older vehicle? Use Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $35.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
It's the definition of I need a win. I've gone from up $400 to down $125 in less than a week. It hasn't gone well. Try to get back on the right side of the ledger tonight. 3 picks in the NBA. First one, I got 25 on it. Oklahoma City and Utah. Yikes. If you watch more than 30 seconds of this game, you need to have your remote checked because it's obviously broken. Oklahoma City is playing guys that I didn't know were in the league. This is going to get ugly in a hurry. I don't see how they score points. Last night, you scored 96 or something like that against the Blazers, who are awful. I got 25 on it, under 219, Oklahoma City and Utah. Next, I got 50 on it. The Brooklyn Nets are a 4.5-point favorite tonight against the Knicks. They need this game. The Knicks have absolutely no shot of containing them. The reason this line is so low is because the Nets are terrible defensively. Problem is the Knicks don't have anybody that can take advantage of that. This number is off. I got 50 on it. Nets minus 4.5. Finally, I got 50 on it. The Dallas Mavericks and the Detroit Pistons under 218.5. Luka Doncic is going to get anything he wants if he plays. there is a possibility Dallas doesn't have much to play for, so they could actually rest guys. Detroit can't score anyway. The last 2 times these teams have met, it's been under 210, and that was at full strength. I don't think this one comes close to it. I got 50 on it, under 218.5 between the Mavericks and the Pistons.
And you can place those wagers at betus.com. Promo code Sportsocracy, and that'll get you a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500. Stick around on the YouTube channel. We are going to talk about the top 5 players that your team needs to come away with in this NFL draft.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.